Guys, big news. The new Grand Theft Auto game is coming out. Broke all the records on YouTube. 24 hours, had like gajillion views. What I decided to do is go back into Grand Theft Auto, the last version, where you're able to pretty much buy and sell anything, including watches. I'm gonna take a look at those watches, see if they are even real or exist, and just go through a few of them for you. All right, first watch. All they did is they made an outline of a watch that looks like a chronograph, right? Would this shape of a watch work? Probably not. I mean, the closest thing I can think of in that shape would be a Gerald Genta watch. Gerald Genta did make hexagon watches. They were popular at one time. So the price is based on the color, which is kind of stupid, to be fair. But so let's move on to the next one. What the is that? Okay, so this could be a watch. This could be the Mega Museum collection. Also, Cartier made a similar looking tank. The shape is not quite like that, but it's certainly close enough. You know, so the gold one of those is $7,500. Not very likely. If that was a real gold watch, it'd be retailing for a lot more. Maybe in steel. And they have silver. They don't make silver watches. Very few brands make silver watches. Go to the nice tattoo, by the way. Ooh. So this looks literally like a very bad copy of a Audemars Piguet Royal Oak Offshore Survivor limited edition to 1,000 pieces. Actually, one of my favorite APs. What gives it away is the little chronograph, where the chronograph bushes are. You sort of see those covers that are on the outside. But this looks like a bad fake mixed in with like a Hublot. Yeah, and the strap actually looks very close to the original strap, because the original strap had those little squares in rubber. Next one is, honestly, looks like a Louis Monet. I think that's what inspired that watch. It looks like a big dressy watch. That sort of half split screen. Could be a watch. Next, silver Medici radial. So this is a play on a Panerai radio mirror. I mean, it's actually pretty close to be a radio mirror, to include the lugs, to include the strap, the crown, the case. Very, very close to faking a Panerai radio mirror. They even made it Medici radial. So the Italian flair with Medici and, you know, the bankers from Italy. $4,000 seems reasonable. Those watches will tend to trade at probably today's retail just under $10,000. Steel Kovary Universe. Is that supposed to be Bulgari? That looks like nothing. That looks like a fake Breitling. They make these fake Breitlings that have the tourbillon in there, which is not really a tourbillon, but that's what kind of that looks like. No. Silver Pendulus Gravity. I guess that's a take on a Tudor, maybe? This has like old Hublot MDM vibes to it, right? But maybe minus the strap. Silver Colgary Explorer. Okay, that's a very bad copy of a Royal Oak. Oh my God, that's a terrible copy of a Royal Oak. And why is it an Explorer? This actually looks like, I guess, supposed to look like the Day-Date Royal Oak, the owl. So is it a chrono? Is it a Day-Date? We don't really know. And the bracelet, oddly enough, looks like the old school Cartier Santos bracelet. So this is a Santos / Royal Oak / I don't know what the hell that is. Definitely not a chrono because there's no extra buttons, but the two windows, I'm assuming should be the power reserve or day-date indication, but $8,550? No. Would I wear that? No. Silver iFruit link. I guess it's supposed to be an Apple Watch, or it's supposed to be some kind of a digital watch, which is priced more than the other ones, which makes no sense. Also has the old Gerald Genta vibe to it. The bracelet sort of looks like the bullet bracelet from the old school Breitlings, but yeah, this does not even remotely close. Some of them are pretty close, actually. Gold Vangelico Geomeister. I mean, it's supposed to be reminiscent of a Jaeger. I would say like a Jaeger World Time, although it has maybe the World Time functionalities on the bottom in that bottom window. It's basically they drew a smiley face and put two buttons on the side. But the button on the left is usually one that will control a World Time functionality, very reminiscent of a Jaeger. The culture should be a little bit bulkier. And a $6,450 for a gold watch is way too cheap. Then again, this is the previous game that came out, 10 years ago? Still too cheap. Ooh, gold Pendulus Galaxis. All right, so this looks like a Vianney Holter, right? Like Vianney Holter made a watch called the Antigua that had these funky dials sticking out every which way. It was like three-dimensional, and the sub-dials were in a case of its own kind of thing, slapped on top of another case. Very, very reminiscent of the Antigua. I shouldn't say very, very, but reminiscent of an Antigua. At least that's what comes to mind because of the separated dials outside of the case. Again, prices here, let's just agree they're not up to par. Another gold Gaulet Retro Hex, again, reminiscent of that Cartier, older Cartier and older Mega Museum collection that I mentioned. Ooh, Silver Chronos Quantum. That's a copy of a Hublot. Pretty decent one too, minus the screws, but certainly has a Hublot vibe to it. Maybe like a King Power, like one of those big ones from back in the day that were 48 millimeters, probably a Ferrari edition or the Alinghi edition based on the coloring. Silver watch, Hamilton maybe? Actually, you know what? This is actually pretty reminiscent of a Vacheron a little bit. Actually, now I take that back. That doesn't look like a Vacheron. That looks like a silver watch for $1,250. I like to shop with their prices. Ooh, Pfister Design Red Sports. The names. I can't. Pfister Designs. What's that popular watch brands that people collect? Invicta. Yeah, that's definitely an Invicta. And it's free, as it should be. Deep Sea watch. Now, I would imagine this would have something to do with Rolex, but this actually looks like a complicated Harry Winston, or it could be a complicated Jaeger, like one of the most complicated watches they make. Again, the price tag at $5,000 certainly doesn't match the amount of complications that are supposed to be in that watch. Could be, no, not a Roger W. Definitely either a Jaeger or like a Harry Winston Opus. Look, copyrights are a I'm gonna give these guys a solid 3 out of 10 to coming close in a couple of pieces. It was, what's the popular saying? Close, but no cigar. The best, honestly, is gonna be the, what do you call it? The Carbon Chrono Submariner, which looks almost identical to Audemars Piguet Survivor. Now, the idea with these video games is like, yeah, when you're shopping for it in the store, you can buy the watches, whatever, you get somewhat of a detail. For the most part, you should be able to tell what the guy is wearing while he's running around in the video game in very, tiny little space. This would tell me, even within the video game, without the big screen, that that's supposed to be a Survivor. I haven't played video games in a long time, but I may watch my son play. This is the part where I do an outro, but that's it. That's all I have to say. See you in 2025.